We come to question 2 of section C. The question was as follows. Make sure that the man you choose to be king is the one whom the Lord has chosen. Okay, so this statement is coming from the verse which is Deuteronomy 17 verse 15. Okay, Deuteronomy 17 verse 15. Okay, so what we're going to do is, before we go and answer the question, we're going to read the entire verse, which is Deuteronomy 17 verse 15. Okay, so the verse reads as follows. Be sure to appoint over you the king the Lord your God chooses. He must be from among your own brothers. Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not a brother Israelite. Okay, so these all verses, I'm getting them from Good News Bible, which is mostly recommended in schools. So this is what the entire verse say. Okay, so now we can go ahead and answer the question. So we start with question 2a, which is, who said these words? Okay, who said these words? So the one who was saying in Deuteronomy in this verse is Moses. However, Moses was delivering the words of God, so we can say Moses, or we can say God through Moses. So I'm very sure that if you give the answer to be God, it will be acceptable. The answer to be Moses will also be acceptable. So God and Moses will also be acceptable, plus additional answer, which is God through Moses, will also be acceptable. So basically, those are the three options of the answers that you can give. Okay, which are correct. We go to question number 2b, which is, whom were these words talked to? Okay, so here we read in the verse that the king should be an Israelite. Okay, a brother Israelite, a brother from the Israelite family, and should be their own. So meaning these words were spoken to Israelites. So the answer is Israelites. Okay, we go to question number 2c, which is, state one other condition of becoming a king. Okay, so what other condition was given for one to become a king, apart from the one who is chosen from God, apart from the condition that is stated in the question there? Okay, one of it is the king should not be a foreigner. Since the 1 to 1, I'll give you 2. 1, the king should not be a foreigner. Okay, the king should be an Israelite. Okay, the other one is he must be one of your own people. Okay, so that means even if they are similar in the way they are coming out, but God commanded the Israelites to have a king who belongs to Israelite. Okay, so it should be like by birth and by tribe he should be an Israelite. Okay, we come to question 2d, which is, state 3 things the king was not supposed to have. 3 things that the king was not supposed to have. Okay, number 1, the king was not supposed to have many wives. Okay, so the king was not supposed to be a polygamist, yes, or maybe the king was not to have many wives. Okay, the other one is the king was not to have many horses for his army. Okay, so the king was not allowed to have many horses for his army. Then the third one is, a king was not to make himself rich with silver and gold. So here the statement is trying to say that the king was not supposed to be greedy. Okay, he should not get everything for himself to make himself rich. Okay, he should save the people. Maybe he should have less silver and gold. Okay, not to make himself or herself rich. So if you have a queen, she shouldn't be so rich. If he's the king, he shouldn't be so rich or be greedy. Okay, so those are the 3 things that the king was not supposed to have. Okay, question 2e was as follows. State one thing he was supposed to have, and one thing he was supposed to do after having it. Okay, so the most important thing a king was supposed to have was the book, a copy of the book of God's laws and teaching. Okay, so a king was supposed to have this. Okay, now what was he supposed to do with this copy of the book of God's law and teaching? The king was supposed to keep this book near him and read it so that he understands. So they were expected to read this book for their entire life. As they learn, they should also be reading this book. Okay, we got to question number 2F, which is give 2 reasons why he was supposed to have this thing in him. Okay, the reason why he was supposed to have a copy of the book of God's law, one was for him not to make himself rich with silver and gold, because in this book where there are laws and teachings, God was guiding people on how to live, not to rely on earthly things. Like, he shouldn't make himself rich or become greedy, get everything that the land can provide and make them his, which was against God's law. So the king will be reading this book, which will guide him on how to use those things and how not to get all those things and make them his. Okay, the other one is keep him from thinking that he is better than the Israelites. Okay, so this book had teachings which supported that all men are equal, no one is better than the other. Okay, so this could have helped the king to rule the Israelites better. So the reason the God commended people or kings to have this copy of God's law and teaching is for them to make them feel equal to other people and appreciate God for making them king, while his fellow Israelites who are just like him are his followers. Okay, the other reason, so they want to, I'll give you 3. The other reason is it also the teachings and the laws of which were in this book, the laws of God and the teachings of God which were in this copy of God's book, they also helped kings not to disobey God, okay, or not to disobey God's command. Whatever God wanted them to do, when they read in the Bible, or when they read in this book, in this copy of God's book, they will be able to understand the consequences and how God wants them to lead the life. Hence, they will not disobey God's command because they will know exactly what they are supposed to do. Okay, so these are the answers we are supposed to write for question 2F. So basically, these are the answers we are supposed to give for question 2 in section C. Okay.